It's a little more challenging because you're on an unstable base, so the tendency will be to want to roll to the sides more. It's good. This side feels much better than the other one, yeah? That's it. And relax here and here. Yes. Just one more to each side. Again, to challenge this one, you can reduce the base of support more by taking your arms up and pointing your fingertips up towards the ceiling, which Janine will demonstrate now. Does that feel a little less safe? Yes. Lovely work. And just lower your arms down by your side, Janine. Roll to one side. Take the ball out from underneath you. Okay. And clasp your fingers. Place them behind your head with your elbows out. Now be careful here that the ribs aren't suddenly popping up in the air. You still need to try and keep those ribs down on the floor. So this is where we can see where there's a bit of lack of mobility maybe up in the upper back. It's an area that we get very tight in. Inhale and lift your head up and look at your knees. Then exhale and slide your ribs down towards your hips. So you lift your shoulders a little bit. Inhale when you get to the top. And then exhale and lower yourself back down to the floor again. So it's inhale to lift the head, exhale to lift the shoulders and bring the ribs down towards the hips. Inhale at the top and then exhale and lower back down again. That's lovely work, Pindi. Try not to tip your pelvis back though. That's it, maintain that little space. Good. So inhale to lift the head, exhale, lift the shoulders. Lovely. And you can see it's not a high lift. We're not doing a crunch. We're just working on establishing movement through the upper body without pushing the belly out. So I don't know which one of you is game to do it and let your belly pop up in the air. Oh, there it goes. Lovely, Janine. Excellent. And you can see that when that happens, that internal corset is actually switched off. So we're looking at using the corset, which is going to keep your belly flat because they're the muscles that actually keep your tummy flat. Good. Okay, stop after this one and then roll to one side and take the ball up between your shoulder blades. So now you have it up between the shoulder blades and it's creating something to move over. When you first start doing this exercise, just clasp your hands behind your head and lift your shoulders up slightly. So Pindi, just lift a little bit higher so that you're up off the floor in a neutral position, that's it. So start out initially with a bit of a lift. Just take your head back a bit though. That's it, more neutral. And we do the same exercise. So now it's inhale to lift the head, exhale to press down into the ball, again like you're kneading out that dough. Inhale at the top and exhale to come back to a neutral position. As you get more confident with this exercise, you can then start to drape over the ball and get more spinal extension, which is going to help a lot with mobility through the thoracic spine. So as Pindi's doing here, she's coming further down. You can see the ribs pop up a little bit, but that's okay. It's getting that expansion through the rib cage. Just do two more. So remember, you don't have to go back all the way over the ball. So Janine, if you can just go back to the level one, that would be lovely. Excellent. And when you finish this last repetition, roll to your side again, take the ball away, and repeat that half roll up. And see now if it's any easier. Sorry, Pindi. So drawing the ribs, closing the space between the ribs and the hips. Good. And then coming back. remembering to breathe. When you get more experienced with the exercise, you can make it flow into one sequence. So you exhale as you come up and inhale as you go down, and make it a little faster. Excellent work, girls. And then relax and breathe. Just breathe normally for a little bit, and let your abdomen relax as well. Take hold of the ball and roll all the way over onto your stomach. And then take the ball to one side and lie down in a capital E shape. So your elbows are level with your shoulders, your hands are pointing straight forward with your nose towards the mat. For now, put your big toes together and let your heels drop right out to the side, so that you're really relaxing through the buttock area. You don't want to have any tension through the legs, the lower back, or the buttocks. Imagine a piece of string attached to the bottom of your shoulder blade. And someone's going to pull that piece of string down towards your waist, very gently drawing down. As they draw that piece of string down, you lift your face away from the floor and lift your upper chest, the collarbones and sternum off the floor, relaxing this part of the back here and making sure the buttocks are soft as well. And then inhale and lower yourself back down. Exhale, lengthen and lift. And as you do that, lift the muscles of the pelvic floor at the same time, making sure that they're very gently switched on. Being careful that you're not tightening up down here in the back. So Pindi, just relax this way a little bit, good. And then inhale and lower it down. So the feeling is that you exhale, shoulder blades draw down into that V shape, and then inhale and relax back down. Be very careful when you're doing this exercise that when you lift up, these muscles here don't push down into the floor. Imagine you've got a little egg sitting under your belly button and you don't want to break the egg. This is a lovely exercise to counteract sitting at a computer all day. So if you spend a lot of time sitting at a computer, you'll often be quite hunched over. And this exercise helps to strengthen those muscles in the upper back to pull your shoulders back. I call it a bit of a gravity-defying exercise, to stop gravity pushing you forward. You defy gravity and open up through the chest. Excellent. To gain more mobility through the thoracic spine, we're going to use the ball. So girls, if you could just grab the ball, pull the stopper out, squeeze some air out, and then place the ball just below your collarbones on that really bony part of the chest. You don't want it too low down, you don't want it up in your throat, it's just on that flat bit. Excellent, and back to that wide E shape with the arms, and you can even take your head down towards the floor. So not too low down, that's it. Again, you've got that big piece of dough that you want to squeeze and push forward. So you roll the dough forward and then you release back down again. So at the moment you're just pushing down into the ball and lengthening and then releasing and relaxing over the ball. Pushing down into the ball and lengthening. So the feeling is almost as if you're being pushed from the top and then relax. So it's pushing down and forward and then relaxing. Then push down into the ball, roll forward, draw the shoulder blades down your back, being careful you don't lift the head too much and break at the base of the skull, and then relax over it. So now we're moving more into that preparation for swan dive. This is also a good exercise to prepare you for swimming. So shoulder blades are coming down, And you should feel it working in the upper back below the shoulder blades, maybe a little bit between your shoulder blades, but you should feel nothing happening at all up here in the top of the shoulders or down here in the lower back. Just repeat it 2 more times. And be careful how much pressure you're putting on the floor with the arms too. There's quite a bit to remember when you're doing these exercises if you want to do them with really good technique. Now take the ball away and do the same exercise without the ball and see if it feels any different. I'll get some feedback and we'll see if it feels any different. So lengthen and lift, exhale, inhale and lower. And Janine, you seem to have a lot more movement there now. Yeah? Pindi, does it feel different for you too? Yeah? Good. So relaxing the lower back. Good. So at this level, in this DVD, we're just staying here with this preparation for Swan Dive. We're not going to take it to a higher level of intensity. One more. And then relax down. Excellent. Just take hold of your ball, roll over onto your side. Pull the stopper out and inflate the ball so it's nice and round again. Again, it will still be quite squishy. You don't want the ball to be really hard unless you want to work really hard. And then place it underneath your bottom ankle. And lying down. Taking your arm up. If we were to do a snapshot of you standing up and then tip that snapshot over onto its side, it would be the same shape. So that's the shape you're looking for. And just straighten your legs. That's it. Takes a bit of manoeuvring with the ball sometimes. And stack your ankle bones one on top of the other. Good. You should be able to see your toes, so just check that you can see your toes. And then that your waist is lifting up away from the floor. If you could imagine there's really cold water running and you don't want to dip your waist into that cold water, there's space underneath. Okay, and you need to make sure you're right over on your side. So it's like you're teetering on the edge of a precipice. Then the shoulder glides down the back and just rest the hand gently on the floor. You don't want to be putting too much tension there. So bring your shoulder back a bit, Janine. There you go, good. That's the way. Recruit the muscles of the pelvic floor, or those deep abdominal muscles. Then exhale and lengthen your top leg and lift it. And inhale, lowering it back down. Exhale, lengthen and lift. And inhale, lower back down. Good. Just dropping your ribs down a little bit, Pindi. That's it, excellent. Nice work. Repeat that another 4 times, remembering with this exercise you're wanting to do between 8 and 12 repetitions. It's really up to you. And not letting your waist dip down into that icy cold water, but keeping your shoulder down and back. There you go, good. Face should be relaxed, inhaling through the nose and gently exhaling through the mouth. And then relax. Just let the legs go a bit floppy on the ball. Good. Relax your belly a little. Breathe. And then re-establish that posture. So lying on your side. This time, just to make it a little more challenging, I want you to rest your bottom foot very gently on the ball. So lift up slightly so it's only just touching the ball. Good, so now you have both legs lifted. And just do 4 of the side lying lift without putting any more pressure on the ball. So now you're having to stabilize more. Just observe where you are taking the tension. It might be up through the shoulders, it might be in the jaw, it might be in your face. Now do 4 more, but this time push down into the ball as you lift the leg. So it's like you're squeezing the legs open and then drawing them back, and release the tension on the ball. So exhale, squeeze down into the ball as you lift the top leg, and inhale and bring it back. Just repeat that 2 more times. You can have your foot pointed, you can have it flexed, you can have the foot just relaxed at the end of your leg. There's no specific place for your foot, just go where it goes. Good. Draw your knees up towards your chest and walk your hands up now until you come up to a sitting position. Take hold of the ball. Now you can use the ball in 2 ways here. You can use it as a little prop underneath your tailbone to help you sit up straight. So Janine, I might ask you to do that. So you prop it just under the tailbone, and that helps to give the tip of the pelvis. Or you can use it between your hands as a little bit of a tool for awareness, but to recruit the muscles in your chest as well. So Pindi, I'll ask you to do that. Thank you. So when you're sitting in this position, make sure the back is really long, that the shoulders are dropping down, but you don't want the ribs popping out. You still want the ribs over the hips. So that's lovely. And then switch on the pelvic floor or the lower abdominal muscle, so that internal corset, which pulls everything together and supports the spine, is switched on. There are options for the way you have your legs. Some of you might like to sit with your legs crossed if that's comfortable, but some of you might find that you're a little bit hunched over and can't find a neutral pelvis, in which case you can take your feet out wide with the knees bent and sit up tall. You can even take your legs out straight. So go to a place where you're comfortable. Thanks, Pindi. Either holding the ball in front of your sternum or thumbs to the front of the chest and fingers to your chin. Dropping your shoulders down, doing up your internal corset. Exhale and twist to the right. And then inhale and come back to the center. Exhale and twist. And inhale and come back to the center. If you're using the ball, you can push your hand into the ball, which helps to push you around the corner, and then release it to come back. Imagine you're a cork in a bottle and you're being unscrewed out of a bottle. And each time you come back to the middle, you're a little bit further out of the neck of the bottle. Remembering to exhale when you twist and inhale when you return. This is a lovely exercise for mobility through the thoracic spine. So it's helping to relieve tension. So again, another nice exercise for a professional sitter. If you do a lot of sitting during the day, this exercise is beautiful just to release all that tension that you get up through the upper back. Just repeat it once more to each side. Remembering to work with your breath. So don't worry about how fast or how slow you're going. In fact, slower is better. Good. Come back to the center, take the ball away and lie on your other side. So you place the ball underneath the bottom ankle. Okay, you're welcome to move up the mat a little bit if you like, Pindi. That's it. Good. So remembering to keep your waist lifting up away from the floor, the shoulders gliding down your back. Should be able to see your toes and lying right on your side. This is a great exercise to see how balanced you are. because some people will find it much more challenging on one side than the other. There you go, beautiful. When you're ready, making sure you've got everything switched on, exhale, lengthen and lift your top leg, and then inhale and lower it back down. Exhale, lengthen and lift, and inhale, bring it back down, making sure you're right on your side, not rolling back onto the fleshy part of your bottom or the fleshy part of your thigh, and keeping your waist lifting from the floor. Good. Shoulder down. Exhale. Think of lengthening the leg with the exhalation and just lowering with the inhalation, rather than thinking of lifting. This is working the muscles in the outside of the hip, but it's also working to stabilize the pelvis. Now relax your underneath foot on the ball when you lift. And see how stable you are, not using the ball now for support. Just make sure your underneath leg's parallel, Janine. You've gone a bit turned out. So rotate that way. There you go. Yep, good. That'll make it a bit more challenging for you, I think. And then try it pushing down into the ball with the underneath foot and lifting the top leg up and releasing it as you close the legs back down. Is this side easier for you or more challenging? It's just an interesting observation for yourself. And then relax down, draw your knees up. Walk your hands up, come up to a sitting position. Take the ball and just sit with both feet flat on the floor. So if you face the end of your mat, and place the ball just behind your sacrum. Good. We're going to work now on mobility through the lumbar spine. So we're going to do the half roll up, but we're starting from the top. Okay, so just bend your knees, put your feet flat on the floor, hip width apart. Don't have the ball in too close, so it's just resting at the back, resting it there. Good. You want to squash the ball, so tip your pelvis back and squash your sacrum into the ball, and then come back up again. Relaxing your shoulders, and tip your pelvis back, squashing into the ball, and then coming back up again. Think in this one of not dropping the shoulders or working through the upper back, but just pressing the lower back, keeping your knees hip width apart, and then coming back up. Exhaling as you tip back, inhaling as you come up. Imagine that your pelvis is a goldfish bowl. So it has that round base, and you're rolling off the base and you're tipping the goldfish out of the back of the bowl. Just do one more here. And then place the ball a little bit further away. So just take it out and a little bit further away. That's good. Yep, about there. Imagine that first ball is still there. Tip, squash the first ball and bring yourself down to touch the ball. And then come back up. Exhale, tip the pelvis back, tipping the goldfish out of the back of the bowl, touching the ball, and then coming back up. Now everyone is different, so you'll notice that Janine has quite a big curve in her back, Pindi has less of a curve in her back. Work to your degree of mobility, but really aiming to have a feeling of just tipping the pelvis back. So tip back, tip back, tip back, tip back, tip back, and then touch, and then coming back. Avoiding just leaning back in one piece. We're trying to roll. That's it. Relax your shoulders down. Good. Just one more. take hold of the ball, and I'll ask you to turn around and sit with your legs crossed again. Good. Take the ball underneath your right hand. And again, establishing a neutral posture in this sitting position. Dropping your shoulders, switching on those deep abdominal muscles. Just place your hand lightly on the ball, then exhale and roll the ball away. Feel yourself reach to the side, and inhale and come back up. Exhale and reach the ball away, and inhale and come back up. Now you can do this same exercise and take the left arm overhead so you get a big side bend. And then inhale and come back up. Be aware when you're doing this one of what's happening to the pelvis. You want to keep the hip down. So you'll know if the hip is moving if the knee hitches up. So keep your knees level and think of keeping your opposite hip squashing down into the floor. You might find you don't bend so far, but you'll bend with better technique. We're trying to stabilize the pelvis as we stretch the side of the body. Just do one more. Sitting up really straight at the end each time. So coming up, lift, 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 lift. Yes, beautiful. And then change hands. Take it to the other side. In your own time, just exhaling, taking yourself over, bringing yourself back.